The row seems to have intensified in Mayo between Carnacon, the greatest Gaelic football team of the club scene of the last 2 decades, and the Mayo County Board. The Mayo women's team yesterday issued a statement denying that there had been any player welfare issues that they had witnessed. It was a pretty interesting statement, and it certainly seemed to back up the County Board, who have been trying to throw Carnacon out of the club championship. Just to briefly clarify exactly what's been going on, the Mayo County Board threw Carnacon out for the fact that they withdrew their players from the inter-county team. Carnacon appealed this to the Connacht Council, and the Connacht Council said, "What the hell are you doing?" Back in goes Carnacon. But last night at another meeting of the Mayo County Board, it seems the Mayo County Board have decided to appeal the decision of the Connacht Council. Cora Staunton of Carnacon is with us on the line this morning. Cora, have I summed that up accurately? Is that where we stand at the moment?
Yeah, that's where we stand at the moment. So there was a general county board meeting last night, and there was a vote, obviously, or a motion again passed by the delegates for the appeal of Carnacon, for the county board to appeal the Connacht Council decision. So I presume that will be heard out in the next couple of days. They have till, I think, tonight, till 5 p.m. today to get the appeal into Connacht Council, and as a club then we'll probably hear from Connacht Council about the appeal. So
just to recap for everybody, because a lot of people are kind of coming to this story going, how the hell did this happen? What were the grounds on which the Mayo County Board threw Carnacon out in the first place?
Yeah, so the grounds was that we were under Rule 283 of the ladies Gaelic football rules, and as everyone probably aren't aware of all the rules, and I amn't myself. It's just to say that the Carnacon girls are basically, the club has brought the game into disrepute for the 8 girls being stepped away from the county panel. Yet in all, there's been 12 girls have stepped away from the county panel at the start of July, along with 2 management, a selector and a management that was just in the background. So from the point of view, we feel it's just that the club are being punished at the moment. So obviously last Thursday night, we brought the appeal to Connacht Council, the disciplinary department of Connacht Council, and we won our appeal and thought we were back on the pitch. And then on Friday night, about 9:30, 10 o'clock, we got an email from the county board. The club secretary received it from county board, asking would we attend the county board meeting this Tuesday night under Rule 283 of the official guide. And basically we're summoned to the meeting and to invite 2 delegates of our club and 1 player to the meeting, and to make sure that these players, these 2 delegates and 1 player, have a good understanding and a good knowledge of the player welfare issue raised by the girls. So from that, obviously our club met as an executive. We decided that this wasn't fair, obviously, process. We're going back into the same people again, and the same delegates, and to summon one player to a meeting in front of probably 60 or 70 delegates to tell their player welfare issues. We didn't feel that was a fair process at all. We decided, then our club executive decided to write a letter to the county board to say that we wouldn't be attending the meeting. And we also felt that, we didn't get a response to that letter. We wrote that letter, I think we wrote it on Monday and was sent to the county board. We got no response. I think that letter was also read out last night at the meeting. And we also decided that we were going to write to Ladies Gaelic asking them to intervene because we feel that we're not getting a fair hearing at all in Carnacon. So further to that, Ladies Football replied to the letter and essentially said to us that there's nothing that they could do, and that, that indicated that they think that's the county board that need to sort this issue out. So we were really surprised and obviously disappointed at their stance that they haven't come out and, in any way helped this decision. We just feel it's nearly a witch hunt on the club at this stage. They're going for the club, which is very sad. We're being penalised for making a choice, from stepping away from a county panel, and the whole club, has been punished. Our senior team has been punished. We have a panel of 28 players, and, our whole club has been punished because there's girls young as 10, 11 and 12 not knowing what's happening. And I suppose all this negative press that's been in the media, and parents and everyone are very concerned. So it's been a very difficult time for a club.
Yeah, I'm sure, no doubt it has. Can we just spool back a little bit to the sequence of events? So you guys you found out on Friday night that you were getting an email summoning
us to the meeting on Tuesday night, which was last night, basically saying that they wanted 2 delegates and one player that knew the welfare issues of the 8 players that stepped away to come to a county board meeting, which basically was under Rule 283, which is a disciplinary procedure to the whole entire county board meeting.
Were they going to charge those 2 delegates and that individual player, or were they going to try and retry the entire club again? Do you know why were they summoning 3 people?
Because under 283, it's known as a disciplinary provision in the rule book. So they decided that, to bring all these in, they wanted the delegates to hear from. They wanted the delegates of the county board to hear from 2 of our delegates and one of our players on the whole issues of what's going on, and from then obviously make a decision. Would they decide to appeal the decision and go ahead and trying to get our club expelled again?
Okay, so when you guys wrote the letter back saying there's no way we're coming here because
we just didn't feel it was a fair process that you put 2 delegates and 1 player up in front of 60 or 70 delegates at a county board meeting. So we decided that we weren't going to the meeting, and we also at the same time decided to write to Ladies Gaelic looking for support and help. And as I said, we got a very short email back to them saying that, there's essentially nothing they can do. They've responded to our mail, and they indicate that, we hope the board can sort it out. And, that's all we've heard back from. We've heard back nothing from the county board from the letter. And basically we're very disappointed at this. This is the second time basically going to trial again, going to another obviously it'll go to another Connacht Council meeting. It'll go to the higher body of Connacht Council, and it's going back with the same evidence, and again they're going back with. So we just don't feel it's a fair hearing at all. We feel that the club, as I said, it's nearly like a vendetta against the club, which is very disappointing. As I said, we're being penalised for making a choice, for walking away from a county scene, and yet and all there's another 4 girls, as I said, and 2 members of the backroom staff that has walked away, and there's no punishment for them. It's just on our club. It's ridiculous in this day and age that you're playing an amateur sport and you're being punished from walking away from something.
Well, there's just one point that I want to kind of in the middle of all this. So as the email comes from them and as your letters go back, then all of a sudden yesterday there's a statement issued from the Mayo players, and the opening 2 lines, it's a very long statement. We'll tweet it out and we'll put it up. I think people have probably seen it. They issued it to the 42 website. We, the Mayo Senior Ladies Panel, believe the time is now right to make a statement regarding events in June and July 2018. On the 6th of July, 8 players were withdrawn by their club without consultation or discussion with their Mayo team colleagues. So the implication from their statement is that the players weren't acting as individuals, that it was the club who withdrew them summarily, and that would be the case that the county board are making. I'm kind of trying to point out here that there's a coincidence between the second line in the statement from the Mayo Senior Ladies Panel and exactly the charge as being levelled by the county board.
Yeah,
that's a handy coincidence in the day that you guys have written them a letter.
Yeah, and I suppose it's very disappointing. I suppose obviously when we read the statement yesterday evening, and the content of the statement is very disappointing, but also we're very surprised at the timing of it. So this came out about 5:30 yesterday evening, with the impending county board meeting to happen at 8 o'clock last night. So we're, that's very, very surprising. But we acknowledge that none of them girls that were in the panel at the time, maybe 20 other girls have witnessed anything of concern. But that doesn't, that doesn't say that nothing hasn't existed. They may not have witnessed it, but that's not to say it didn't exist. So, from a point of view, as we've always said, and I've said, there's issues there. They're very sensitive and personal to the people that are involved. We have been very dignified, and we were not using the media or places like that as a platform to air our problems. We want these problems sorted. We want these problems investigated. And none of that has happened. As I said, there's 14 people here that's walked away. There's 8 yes from 1 club, but we had certain issues reasons that we walked away, and we haven't been getting a fair platform, and because of this our club is being punished because 8 girls from 1 club decided to walk away. I can here say that the 14 people that left the Mayo senior team in July all left for the same reasons, and if you wanted to get that from the other 13 girls, they've all left for the exact same reasons, and I think that's been lost out there, that girls, we're hearing that there are 4 others left for personal reasons. There's been no mention why 2 members of the backroom team have left. And from all of this, the way to go is punish Carnacon, the standard bearers of ladies football for the last 20 years in the county. And it's hugely disappointing that the amount of time and effort that our club, the way we've promoted the game over the last 20 years, it's been hugely disappointing that we're being treated this way. You know, we look at the aims and objectives of the ladies football and they say, you know, the association should foster, promote and develop ladies Gaelic football. That's what we've been doing for the last 20 years in Carnacon, and to be treated like this, and for a club to be said, you know what, you cannot compete in Senior League and Club Championship, going for a 20th county title this year and after winning our 6th All-Ireland, it's hugely disappointing. You know, and we can't understand, we're not getting a fair process at all, and how they can appeal a decision again in a couple of days' time. You know, it's madness, to be honest.
Do you feel like it's time, or it's getting time, for the welfare issues to be made public? I know you've said that, you know, you've been maintaining a dignified silence on that, but it's getting to the point at this stage now where the failed coup is what the statement yesterday referred to, and they're putting that alongside the Carnacon players walking away. And so in the eyes of the public, and like, let's face it, this is kind of the county board want this to happen clearly. In the eyes of the public, people are saying that looks like a failed coup. Everybody walked away at the same time. The players are coming out and saying they backed the manager. You know, what's going on here? There is a gap in people's information here.
Yeah, and I suppose as I talked about the issues, as I said, they're very, very sensitive and personal to a certain number of girls that have walked away. And by all means, when ladies football or anyone else want to know and come down and look at these issues, as I said, these issues aren't to be dragged through the public, and the public to be saying, oh yeah, this is right or this is wrong. We're looking for an organisation, the governing body, you know, a body at Connacht level to come. You know, we've asked them to come and look at our issues. These issues have been told to 3 members of the executive of the county board back in July. They sat in a meeting room with us and with 9 of the girls at the time. And we told them, you know, what our issues were. So, you know, the chairperson of the county board, Yvonne McKevely, the development officer, Brian Galvin, and the secretary of the county board, Kevin MacDonald, all have heard our issues. Okay, and so just to clarify, they're completely separate from the failed coup. Was there also a failed coup? There was never a coup wherever this came out. As I said, the environment for us wasn't right within the county setup. We didn't feel it was a safe environment to be in, so we decided to leave. Left the environment, and from that, you know, we wish the girls well, keep going on, and, you know, represent their county as well as they can. There was no failed coup here at all. We just decided we could not stay in the environment. For us, it wasn't healthy to stay in the environment, so we decided to leave. And from there, we left. We went back to our clubs, and that was it. You know, there was no failed coup here.
Cora, it's Dave here. I know there was no Carnacon representative at the county board meeting last night, but have you heard through a third party on what grounds have the county board decided to appeal the decision of the Connacht Council?
Well, we presume it's on the grounds of the same, that 283. From what I'm aware of, and I'm open to correction, is that obviously when the Connacht Council appealed, when we won it, it came back on a technicality, and from that they decided that if they obviously fix that technicality, they'll come back on the appeal. So the motion went to the delegates again last night to say, you know, if we do this right and do it to get the technicality right, can we go again and vote? So they voted again last night. That they go and appeal the situation. But again, I wasn't in at the meeting, so I can't be 100% sure.
And if they get past this 5 p.m. deadline today, I assume Carnacon will be defending themselves at this appeal in front of the Connacht Council. That they'll definitely be sending somebody to that.
You know, Carnacon aren't going anywhere. As I said, it's a vendetta, a witch hunt, whatever you want to call it, against our club. You know, we certainly won't be going anywhere. We'll be fighting this to the bitter end. You know, ladies football is about girls getting out in the pitch and playing. And at the moment, we've girls as young as 13 years of age and playing on our senior football team, and they're being denied playing football. You know, as I said, there's 8 players that were involved in the county team. We've a senior panel of 28. That's 22 other girls, and we're all being denied, you know, playing football here. You know, why? The question I ask is, why are we being penalised for making a choice, from walking away from an environment that we didn't think was healthy?
One other question for me, Cora. The timing obviously is something of this statement in regards to last night's meeting you've questioned, and there's also talk of a coup, which you're telling us there was never any sense that was something that was taking place. And in the statement as well, your ex-fellow panellists have said that they feel deeply hurt and saddened by the actions that yourself and the other 11 players took in stepping away from the panel. Are you still in touch with any of those panellists that are still involved? I mean, have you had an opportunity to even maybe text one of them and ask them what is going on here? Do any of them know about the reasons, the personal reasons, the very sensitive reasons that they stepped away?
As far as I'm aware, most of them know. After we left, the 8 players left and a couple of girls left for a couple of days later. All their feelings were aired in a players' meeting. So they heard the feelings of the 4 other girls that left in a players' meeting. So they've heard all that. Yeah, I've bumped into a couple of girls. Obviously, when you work in the town, you're going to bump into them, and I've said hello and stuff to them. But yeah, they certainly know the feelings of the girls that left, the 4 girls, because they had a players' meeting after we had gone and left the team. We left on, I think it was a Thursday night. I think they had a players' meeting a couple of days later, and I know for a fact that our captain Sarah Tierney spoke out and gave her reasons and talked about the environment being unhealthy and why she would have to leave. And I know there's other girls that done that as well.
If they know about the player welfare issues, then why do you think they said no player welfare issues exist? They were essentially saying that your story doesn't exist.
Yeah, well, I can't really answer that. I don't know where the statement is coming. It's saying the Mayo ladies senior football team, the rest of the panel, have they all signed off on it? I don't know. Is it coming from the management team? I don't know where it's coming from. At this stage, I don't know. But as I said, I'll go back to it. There was very sensitive and personal issues to girls there. We didn't feel that the environment was healthy, and we made a decision to walk away. Now we're being punished. Our club is being punished. We're the only 8 people, or the only 28 people that are being punished on a senior club team. There's no one else being punished, only these 28 girls.
Yeah.
From walking away from an environment that we didn't think was healthy. What is that telling to young girls that are coming up? If you have an issue or a problem in any sporting field, you don't go and tell the problem, because if you go and tell the problem, you're going to be disciplined.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what it's telling to me. I go around the country. I'm in Edwardstown last night training a senior girls team and giving them a talk. If you said that to them, if you have a problem, if my niece in a couple of years' time comes and tells me she's a problem, what will I say to her? Don't bother saying anything, because you'll be punished. That's exactly what the message that we're giving out at the moment, which is a very, very sad message.
Do you think this relationship can be fixed? Because what's being said here is so divergent in, like, what you've just said there, the player welfare issues and people saying that they don't exist. Whether or not that's coming from the teammates now needs to be stressed that you're not entirely sure if that's the case. So do you think that there's a workable relationship there at all in the future now?
It's very hard to know, but I can't really answer that going forward. I'm sure there's people there that will help try and fix it, but at the moment it's the 5th of September. Carnacon are meant to be out in championship in less than 2 weeks' time. This is our primary concern. As I said, there's been 28 girls very, very wronged here, and a club's name being blackened. This club has been at the top of ladies football for the last 20 years, and our name has been blackened, brought through the mud here, and we've done nothing wrong. As I said, for walking away from an environment that we didn't feel was healthy, and we're getting punished. Where's this bringing the game into disrepute? Throughout my years of playing Mayo football, there's been girls that's walked away for many, many reasons. Some of them just walked away, decided just to go on a J1 or didn't want to play anymore. So, over the last 20 years, I've never seen any of them girls being punished for walking away.
Yeah, no,
you know what I mean? So where's the fairness in all this?
It doesn't make any sense. Whatever the row with the county team is a row. That's fair enough.
Yeah, but I think it's very important to point out now, they've made this, as a welfare issue, but this is now 2 different issues. There's the welfare issue that the county board hasn't investigated properly our ladies Gaelic, and now there's a Carnacon issue. So it's gone to 2 issues.
Yeah, no, totally.
So there is, at the moment, there's 2 issues. And the only people that are being punished are 28 girls that have been very, very committed to our club. They're training away 3 or 4 nights a week and don't know what's happening. And as I said to you, there's girls as young as 13 on that team. And when you have to turn up to training and our managers have to give them the message, oh yeah, there's another appeal going in, we're not sure what's happened. It's very, very difficult for these girls. They have to walk around their villages, their towns, they have to go into school, they have to go into work and try and explain to themselves. And as I said, all because they've done nothing wrong.
I've no doubt that game's going to go ahead though, Cora, at this stage. Like, there's surely there's no chance of any proper GAA board beyond the Mayo County Board saying, yeah, no, that's okay, you can actually punish an entire club for an incident which they don't even have the power to to legislate on. So I'm sure the rulebook is not just on your side, but actually will ultimately back you guys up.
And I hope, in time, ladies football will intervene and Connacht Council will intervene and common sense will prevail, because, as I said, it's been very, very difficult for every member of our club, for our families, for the whole parish. It's been hugely difficult for our friends and everything. It's the last 2 weeks, this is not what we want. Ladies football, there's an All-Ireland final being played in 2 weeks' time between Cork and Dublin. Probably Cork being the standard bearers of ladies football and Dublin being up there for the last two weeks. We don't want this to be dominating headlines. We want it to try and push for whatever attendance that you can get in All-Ireland final, and that's what it should be. It should be positive promotion of the game, not this negative promotion that's gone on for the last 2 weeks.
No, absolutely. Cora, thanks very much for joining us this morning. We'll obviously keep in touch with the story. Thanks.
No bother at all.
It's Cora Staunton there, bringing us up to date on what's going on.